Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the next section. I hope that you will bear with us with the technical issue. But so I'm just introduce the next session, and our second panel session is hosted by Minh Pham, a design lead at Fantasy. He is a product design and innovation. Fantasy is a product design and innovation team based in New York, San Francisco, and London, with over 10 years of experience in visual and interaction design. So Minh will share his expertise on how to make a lovable product. So welcome, Minh.
Hey, thank you, Lam. Hi, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed the conference so far. Really excited for our next session here. All right, so let me just sharing my screen. All right, so I hope you guys can see my screen. So if there any problem. All right, so hi everyone, so welcome to my keynote session. So today we're going to talk about secret sauce of a lovable product. So before we get started, if someone of you already made the intro, so you might be wondering who is this guy. So a little bit about myself. My name is Minh, and I'm currently a design lead at Fantasy, but I'm currently working remotely from Vietnam. So here at Fantasy, I had a chance to work with some of the best people in the industry, and we have shipped hundreds of products for one of the most innovative companies in the world, like Google, Netflix, Ford, Samsung, Facebook, and so many more. So I'm here to share my perspective. So I'm not here to tell you, hey, you should do this or you should do that, or this is right, this is wrong. No, because I know we all come from different backgrounds, come from different situations, different company, different project. That's nothing is all true, and all I have to do here is just share my perspective, and hopefully you can pick one thing or two things for your own inspiration or your project or your own company. So our goals in 30 minutes, we gotta cover, understand what make a product lovable, and we're gonna have a glance of how Fantasy team put together a product was loved by millions of users. And then we're gonna find out how visual and interaction designs plays a super important role in the process. And finally, we're gonna talk a little bit about visual and interaction design as a career path. So before we go to the next slide, I got some very quick reel I want to show you. But for your best experience, the host Lum is gonna have me play the video. So hey Lum, can you play the video? Hello?
Hey, because I think I could not play the video because the network is not really good. Right. So I think we should save it for the presentation.
Yeah.
Sorry for that.
All right, no problem. I'm just gonna play the slide here, but yeah. Anyway, so let's get to the fun part. So that was some of the project that we did at Fantasy. Um, and whenever we do a product like this, we don't think as we're doing the MVP, the minimum viable product. We like to think it's more like working on a MLP, minimal lovable product. So what makes this product lovable? So if you imagine you first experiencing a new iPhone. So imagine, I think some of you guys, or most of you guys here already, have an iPhone and already experienced it. And you can remember the time that you first experienced. Wow, how do you feel, right? You're gonna feel excited to try all the new cool features. You will be excited to try all the new smooth interactions, this crazily stunning visual, and imagine amazing experience. So a level of products is something that goes beyond your expectation. So a product is good enough when it's functional, right? It has to get the job done. Okay. It has to be stable. I mean, it does not crash. It just works. And it's decent looking. I mean, it's fine. It's basic. It's nothing too crazy about it. But when a product is lovable, first, of course, it needs to be functional and stable. But it has to be easy to use because nowadays we are lazy. We are lazy. We don't want to think. We want to just expect it to do the rest of the work. We just want to lay there and wait to be amazed. Yes, lazy. And it has to be eye-catching. I mean, if you have to admit that we all attracted to pretty thing, like good visual, get us engaged, get us hooked, right? And it has to be smooth. It has to have smooth interaction. Imagine you tap on the button and then it's only have 1.5 second delay, and you feel what? You feel frustrated. You feel like something wrong, something's not working. You want everything to be just respond immediately. And of course, a lovely product has to have delightful moments. It's where you expect it to be something amazing every time you experience it. So good enough doesn't cut it anymore. Why? Because now we're almost in 2021. It's like we live in a world with crazy technologies like AI, VR, AR, all of this crazy stuff. So people expectation is getting higher and higher. User expectation getting higher. They don't expect to pay the money to experience something they already seen. So if you want to stand out, you want to be something spectacular, you need to get to the point where you want to make a lovable product, not just a good enough product or me too product. So here an example. So this is one of the projects that we did as Fantasy. So this is we have a chance to work with the Royal Caribbean. So for those of you who are not really aware of this company, basically they offer a lot of giant cruise ship like this. So you can do almost everything. It's like a floating resort on the sea. It's their restaurant, their cinema, their theaters, everything is on this ship. So our challenge was to create a digital experience for thousands, even millions of passengers every year on this cruise ship. So it was a huge challenge. So we turned this. So this was the original experience that we have in the fall into something like this. So imagine first start your trip and you see something like this. We design a immersive experience. So to make sure that everyone have the ability to explore everything's happening on the ship. And that experience is packed up a lot of delightful moments like this. Even for checking in, it's also frictionless because you can also do it on the mobile phone. Open the door, no problem. You can also do it with this experience. Stay on TV. So imagine if you wake up and you see something like this. You can have a glance on all the plan for today. You have the info of the trip, where is it going, what is the next location, everything, everywhere. So we did this in 3 stages. First, insight. Second, vision. And final, execute. So for the first step, insight. First, this is the time we try to understand people deeply, right? We're gonna just sit together and then understand the current product, like hearing our customer, hearing our user, define the strategy, and define the product definition. So after this stage, we're going to step to the next phase, vision. So on this phase, we're going to concept a industry shifting vision. We're going to start with ideation workshop. So we're going to put everyone together in a room. And the goal is to generate as many ideas as we can. There are no stupid ideas, no wrong idea at this rate. We want to get as many ideas on the table as we. And I think everyone should be involved. It doesn't have to be just to be design or manager or design director. Even UX designer, motion designer can be a part of this, because the idea can come from anyone. And then we started with sticky notes, right? We got started with very high level, very simple idea. Something just could be 2 words, could be inspire the other with another idea. And also paper sketch. If you have an idea for a story, a what if story, this is a time for you to draw whatever you want, as long as you can communicate the idea to everyone. And of course, we also explore very high level framework at this time to experience UX flow, experience the new cool feature that you can think of. And of course, rapid sound a little bit unusual, but we did bring up motion designer very early at this stage. We try to prototype every idea that we have, because we believe that this is the best way a UX idea is. One way you can really feel the product by making prototype and put it on the phone to really experience it. Of course, concept visualization. This is the time where we can explore any kind of visual direction for the experience. So this is one of the very early stage exploration, but you can see that the design has evolved a lot, but we build a lot on top of these concepts. So after we did that vision phase, we move to the next phase, execute. So now is the time we can just put every idea on the table and pick the best idea. And then we're going to work at pace to bring the product to life. And the way we do is that there's going to be a UX team who's going to define the core experience. We're going to work on navigational framework, high fidelity wireframe, UX copywriting, user testing. And the visual team also work in the same time to define the design language. So the visual design is not just to follow the wireframe and just give it the colors or just to make it more prettier, right? No, visual design team will define the language, UI design, interactive design, visual design. Everything is as important to contribute to the whole experience. And of course, motion team is going to bring it to life by putting all of the design experience to maybe After Effects or any kind of prototype to put on the phone to really experience. So what you normally think the process is the wireframe, we start with wireframe and then finish wireframe and then move to visual design and then move to motion design. But what we actually did is something like this. So it's more like a parallel process where there's a lot of overlap between the UX team and the visual design team, because we believe that UX and visual design teams should work together, not one after the other, because we believe that's good collaboration. Good collaboration is a key to design a great experience. We gotta give each other feedback. We gotta let the ideas bounce it from one to another until it form a bigger idea. And also at this phase, we prototype everything, every idea we have. We put it on motion to feel it, to really experience it. Every detail also matters. We believe the devil is in the detail. We focus a lot on the visual of each of the product here to make sure that the customer, the user feel the premium of the product. Every moment matters, right? We focus on every moment and we want to make sure that we give it enough love. So it really bring the experience to the next level. So that's just a very quick glance of one of the process of making a lovable product. So next question is why visual and designs matter at this phase. So let's take a look about this. So this is one of the image that I have um, at the internet. Whenever I search for UX and UI and what's different, this thing comes up, and I'm not a fan of this image because it's quite misleading. Because the way that this picture is trying to communicate is make people believe that UI is something that just useless. It kind of underestimate the important roles of UI in the whole product design. And it feels like people will misunderstand what UI really mean. So I'm curious about this. So I did a little bit of research about the actual brand, the Heinz ketchup brand. And then actually somebody studied something about these two bottles. So according to Martin Winstorm's study, the plastic bottles UX is better. So yeah, of course, right? It's plastic and it's upside down. So on the ketchup will always at the bottom. It's easier to use. And the glass bottles, even though it looks better, but it's kind of inconvenient because you have to shake it, you have to wait for it to flowing down. But after the surveys, this weird thing is that 80% of the survey respondents said they prefer to purchase the glass to the plastic, which is weird. Why? So it's very interesting that the reason why is that most survey respondents prefer the glass bottle to better quality, especially for a new user. So what we learned from this is that sometimes the visual design is play a very important role, especially for a first-time user to really engage to a particular type of product. And that's really important because if you don't have that kind of first step, there's no way or there's less chance for you to get customers to really experience what is best for them. So that's just a very fun example. Now let's get back to the digital experience. So a device speaks to human by the visual language. So if you think about it, right? If you turn on the phone and then what you see on the phone, actually what the phone is trying to talk to you by visual, right? Every colors, every shape, every word is what the device is trying to communicate to you. So a visual language is a combination of look and feel, which is colors, shape, user interface, buttons, layout, UI element, interactions, when you touch it, when you edit, animation, whatever you see that from you. So all of that language. So the look and feel is going to give user the first impression. And after they have a good first impression, we're going to look at the user interface, where it's going to give user the understanding of how to use this. We're going to look at it and then say, oh, I know where to navigate from one to another page. So they understand the product. And interaction is when they start to really connect to the product. They start to hit the button. They start to explore. That's where the device can connect to its user. And once it's connected to its user, that's when they start to win user heart. So it's the very first step of the user experience, but it's very important because if there's no first step, there will be no further experience. There will be no in-deep experience. Just like you're dating, right? If you want to start a relationship, you need to have dating. You need to understand. You need to interact. You need to connect first. So that's how visual interaction design is super important in product design. So now let's talk a little bit about visual and interactive design as a career. So first thing, forget about the term UI and designer. Because for me personally, I think this term is very confusing in terms of communicating what kind of work you are focused on, what is your expertise. Because there's no such thing as, I believe there is no one really master of both of these aspects, these perspectives of product design. Don't try to be both, just focus on what you're good at, what you're passionate about. So if you feel like you are into visual and interaction design, so here's some qualification that someone that can be good at visual and interaction design. Right? First thing, you need to have a good sense of visual. So this is, some people was born with this, but it can be trained. I mean, like, a lot of people originally don't have the good sense of visual, but after working, years of improving, years of watching other people work, they will develop their sense of visual over time. Second thing is, someone has to have a user-centered design thinking, because the difference between product design and non-product design is that you don't design to satisfy your own interest. You design for user. So you have to put yourself as user to really empathize of what they need. And finally is you must have a system thinking, because you cannot design an element as an individual. It has to be a part of the system as a UI element. One thing must affect the other. So what is a possible job nowadays that you can do with visual or UI designer? First thing is UI designer or visual designer. The name is not really consistent, because every company have different kind of name for every type of job. But I would like to say we call it UI or visual designer. So a visual designer usually focus on work on visual of the experience, user interface, design system, design language, interaction design. So a lot of things you can do here. Or you can do a motion designer. So this is not really popular at the market right now, but I believe it's going to be so much popular in the future, because nowadays people want to see things in motion. Nobody wants to see a static screen no more. And also for us, we're a designer. We need to see it in motion in order to make sure that everything feels right. So motion designer, you can focus on just creating motion, animation, video, prototype. With After Effects, Lodify, a lot of tools. Or you can be a unicorn designer, right? If you are better, you can acquire more skill. You can also do product design, UI design, and motion design, which is a great thing, because now you can just design something and put it in prototype and make sure that everything works fine. So after a while, right, when you do more of this stuff over the year, you're going to get more experience, you're going to get more skill, better skill. You're going to become design director. So a design director is someone who's going to give design direction. It's going to define the design principle for the whole experience. So the job is more like to give feedback, to give direction, to inspire other people. So a design director is more high level. So at this level, you don't kind of do a lot of hands-on stuff no more. You more like to give each other, your team member direction. So there's a lot of possible job out there for visual designers. So what I want to say is that it feels like this is what you're passionate about. Just go ahead, focus on it. You need to put a UX in your title just to sell more expensive, or just to sell a little bit more cooler, because you're afraid that UI designer is not something that people really appreciate. No, there's a lot. So as you have time limit, so I think what I already said is just give you a very little inspiration for your own career. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot, or you can really connect with me with other channels from here. So I hope you guys enjoy the presentation, and I would love to hear what your thought is.
Hey, yeah, that was very nice. I'm really enjoy watching the presentation. I have a couple of questions from the audience already.
Sure.
Yeah. So the first question: what is the hardest part about managing a team remotely, especially from half around the world?
Mhm. Yeah, the hardest part is, of course, to really organize people in a way that um, that you don't really you can keep the work continue, and you have time to really communicate and sync up with the others. Otherwise, it's going to be really hard to make sure everyone's on the same page. So what we did at Fantasy is that we try to keep the member of the team is at minimal. So we don't want to put a lot of people in a product design team. We want to make sure that everyone is really good at what they do, so that they can do it on their own with little supervision and little direction, because especially for like senior guys, it's easy for senior guys, but for junior guys, you're gonna need a lot of like um, need direction, need feedback a lot. So that's why some of the company only hire junior people for remote worker. But the key is that organization and communication is the key here, because you need to make sure that everyone knows what they're working on and what the others working on, and make sure that we have enough meeting to really sync up and really give feedback to each other. And it also have very advantage. Sometimes we can really organize people to work. When someone finishes the time zone and post their work, and then they can leave the work for somebody else to work on top of it. For some cases, a good thing. But overall, I think work is good for senior people where they can really know what they're doing.
Great. Yeah. The next question is: so how do you measure the metric of Lovable in a product with millions of users?
So first thing, like in after before we launch the product, right? We're gonna have like some internal user testing with there's many different kind of method of user testing, like user testing.com or like on-site user testing to make sure that everyone is feedback on the product. But after you launch the product, there's going to be a lot of platform, a lot of tool for you to measure the metric, like on user review on App Store and a lot of more items. So I think after launching the product, it's not really a big question of how to collect those data, because you gotta get a lot of survey from user actual user actually using it.
Okay, I hope that answered the question. So the next one is, in your ideation phase, what are the exercises you use to foster your team creativity?
Oh yeah, one of the very cool things is that the way that they run the workshop, right? It's a very it requires a very very good skill to really run a workshop. You have to run a workshop so everybody can give their idea without being afraid to kind of be stupid or something, right? So we use a lot of sticky notes and put on like the board, and then we just kind of categorize all the idea into the main idea, right? So that we can find the good pattern here. We can find a pattern of the idea here. So where it's going to take this to. So it's going to be a lot of things to talk about the ideation workshop. But in short, ideation workshop is where everybody's equal. There's no one is a boss. No one is the hierarchy. No one is better than the other one. Everyone should be treated in the same level so that they can feel free to speak what they think. And the goal is to collect as many input as we can to find a pattern, to find something that everybody's on the same page. So if we can find it, it's really easy to find a good idea for a product. So again, the key is that just to make sure everyone feel comfortable in the ideation workshop, so that they can just be as clear as you can.
Right. Yeah. And then, so how to prove to higher stakeholders that your product need the delightful experience and the smooth transition, and then how to get a budget for these ideas?
Oh yes, that's a very interesting question, because organization is different, right? Because at Fantasy it's a little bit easier because a lot of clients that come to Fantasy because they already wanted something out of this world. They already wanted something like in the next level, so it's easier. But for other company, I know there's a limitation of budget or time thing. So the way that you can convince the client or the stakeholder to put all of these into the experience, that it sounds like a lot of work, but it's not, because a lovable product doesn't need to have like 3D or crazy stunning visual. It could be just something that you give a little bit love, right? So for example, like when you hit a button and then something more than just a transition to another screen, something a little bit more like an icon or something, some moments, very small moments that doesn't take a lot of time, that could also improve it so much. So if you think about that, the way that you use like the iPhone or the way that a cheaper phone, the difference is that the detail, they have the kind of finesse in that. I don't think that that's hard to pull up. All you need to do is just pay attention to it, to give it a little bit more love. Maybe the developers give it a little bit more love, and then you can prove to the stakeholder that here, this is how we make it. Maybe you can make like comparison that this is a basic product and this is we put it more love. I believe that everyone will feel more excited about making this product feel more lovable. We can start with something simple to make them believe that, oh, this doesn't take a lot of time or doesn't take a lot of money. And then we can just start to make them believe in it. And once them feel convinced about this, you can maybe think of something even more exciting. So it's like an overtime. It cannot be done by just, hey, I want to do this like this. And, you know, you got to change their people mindsets over time.
All right. The next question is, so how do you recommend incorporating Lovable products to a company who already has a design system?
Yeah, I think, again, this is a very specific question, because every company is have different kind of situation, different. But if you already have a design system, it's a question of your leaderboard, that what are their decisions, the direction of the production they want to go. But I believe that you can start with the small thing, right? Again, you can start with the small thing. You can try a little experiment, and when you present something, when you can new feature, a new UI for the manager or something, you can present the two version. First is the version that's with the design system. Second version that with the improved design system, with these all the little thing that you put in there to make it more delightful, and give them two versions so they can see this what's different. So, and then you can tell that, hey, I did it something like this, and if you like it, then you just apply it to your design system. So I believe that rather than just tell them, hey, we should do this, we should just show them. And then once you see it, it's easier to get them convinced, because, you know, people usually believe on what they see rather than believe in what they hear. So that's my opinion.
I believe like you mean like we need to prepare very carefully, right? What we look at and comparing to the
exactly. Yeah, because I know that the design system is like something that's already settled. So you don't want to make huge upgrade, and then people just freak out. So you got to do it like eventually and gradually get to the point that test it, and then you see people respond really positively about it, and then you can make a decision to really apply it to the design system. So it's like a long process.
Okay. So this question is for like a small startup. So teams want a product to work and be usable, as there is always more things to work on the product roadmap. So can you talk about some of the techniques that designer can use to explain to business teams, product manager, and founders?
Yeah, actually, I don't have a lot of like experience on like talking to business team about like the designs, features, and roadmap. But I believe that designers, we always like trying to categorize different job and different duty for different people. So normally a designer's work is only focused on working on the best experience. And the communication between the product business department and the design department is usually another, which I'm not really usually involved in that kind of way. All I care is just to create a best experience product, right? So it's like a very huge story, and then it's no short answer for this, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. So I think if the person who asked it question want to dig further more, maybe can contact me and he can explain more, right? Yeah. Right. Right. So I will ask the last question because we are running out of time now. This one is more interesting. So does lovable design make people become lazier in your opinion?
Actually, I think it's not really make people lazier. It just make people more excited. A part of it can make people lazier is actually is a mission of our designer to make people lazier, because that's what we always want to do. Now, we cannot deny that we always want everything to be faster, everything to just easier to get, easier to access. Even though it's live stream, everybody's just trying to, hey, I want to hear better, I want to see better, I want to experience better. So I think it's our nature to always want more. And our job is to satisfy that, even though that, yeah, it's making people lazier. So it's a bigger question of the whole industry, like the technology. Of course, it's making people lazier because that's what we always wanted, right? Because it's our choice, lazy or, to just put a phone out and then go out and maybe do some exercise. So I don't think, I don't know that that's something that we can control. It's too big.
All right. Yeah, I agree. So, okay. Thank you very much, Minh, for today. And very awesome talk. So, okay, if you have any question that I haven't asked yet, you can directly message me in Slack. Thank you.
Thank you.